Graduates, please rise. Everyone, please rise for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome to the Spring 2023 Bachelor of Science in Public Health graduation ceremony. Woo! Please silence all electronic devices, including cell phones, and at this time, please be seated. My name is Dan Givens, and I am privileged to serve as the 5th Dean of Virginia Maryland College of Veterinary Medicine. It is my distinguished pleasure to now convene the Spring 2023 Commencement Ceremony for the Virginia Tech Bachelor of Science in Public Health graduates. Graduates, today your names are added to the tens of thousands of individuals who over the past 150 years have received undergraduate degrees from Virginia Tech. This ceremony is a public recognition of your accomplishments. On behalf of the Virginia Tech faculty, staff, administration, alumni, and our governing board, the Board of Visitors, congratulations. I would now like to take this opportunity to introduce the stage party. Members of the stage party, please stand as I call your name. Dr. Uba Gotham. Dr. Jennifer McQuiston, our graduation speaker. Dr. Carrie Redican, founding and current director of the BSPH program. Dr. Laura Hungerford, department head of Population Health Sciences and head of Virginia Tech Public Health Program. Dr. Nicole Holt, Dr. Alistair Cohen, Dr. Corey Ruktanacha, Dr. Cornelia Deagle, and students who will soon become graduates: Kathleen Royer, Sarah Kate Brown Miller, and Stephanie Valencic. You may now be seated. I would also like to introduce and recognize Becky Jones, Program Assistant, who has been instrumental in organizing this ceremony. Thank you, Becky. It is now with great pleasure that I call to the podium Dr. Laura Hungerford, Department Head of the Department of Population Health Sciences and Head of Virginia Tech's Public Health Program. Dr. Hungerford.
So I am thrilled that on the behalf of the faculty, staff, and students in the VT Public Health Program to extend congratulations to all of you, to all our graduates. We're so proud of everything that you've accomplished here at VT and excited about your future plans, which include things such as the Armed Forces, graduate school here and at other prestigious institutions, health professions training, including dental, nursing, and medical school, working in public health agencies and companies, or still deciding which career track to choose from all the opportunities in public health. I think that's the hardest choice of all. We'd also like to welcome and acknowledge your family members and guests. Graduates, please stand and let's thank them with a round of applause for all the support they've given you. And from all of us in public health, we thank you for the way that you've raised them or contributed to their growth that led to their commitment to public health and to helping others. This is a very special gift from you to all of those that they will serve and help in the future. Now, I'm honored to introduce our graduation speaker, Dr. Jennifer McQuiston. Dr. McQuiston is a triple Hokie. Yay. She received her BS in biology, her MS in molecular biology, before, of course, the Masters of Public Health program existed, and her Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree from Virginia Tech. She began her public health career at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention as an Epidemic Intelligence Service officer assigned to work on rabies and other zoonotic diseases. Captain McQuiston is widely recognized for her expertise on zoonotic diseases and has received numerous national awards, including the Daniel E. Salmon Award from the National Association of Federal Veterinarians, and multiple awards from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, including the James Steele Award. She has more than 50 scientific publications and is frequently requested to speak at conferences and meetings. As a scientist, mother, veterinarian, and public health leader, Dr. McQuiston believes that helping people understand how to prevent disease is her most important job. Her life's passion is translating science into easy-to-understand strategies to keep both people and animals healthy and on the go. So please welcome Dr. Jennifer McQuiston.
Graduates, I was sitting there 30 years ago, pretty much today, with a bachelor's in biology, and I am really honored to be here speaking to you today. It is so humbling to be your commencement speaker because I know that you are the next generation of public health professionals. I know you're only the second class to be graduating with a Bachelor's of Public Health, which makes you really special. As Dr. Hungerford said, I'm a triple Hokie, very proudly, but I confess I don't have a degree in public health. And when I was here, I was living in Slusher Tower. I was flashing a very questionable fake ID on Main Street. I really wish I did know about public health, because it amazes me that you not only know about it at this stage in your life, you believe in it so much that you chose to specialize in it as an undergraduate. And what an education you have had. You're professionals who were fledged during a global pandemic. The SARS-CoV-2 pandemic was an experience that public health leaders like me had long predicted, but we all hoped would not come true in our lifetime. COVID changed everything. It changed how we worked. It changed how you learned. It kept families apart when we needed each other the most, and it took far too many loved ones from us. It shut down borders, schools, houses of worship, and it halted trade, education, and art. As public health professionals, you can probably appreciate this. It delayed vital programs like childhood immunizations. It prevented people from getting critical care like mammograms and colonoscopies. On the bright side, everybody got a dog. You got a dog up in the stands probably during the COVID pandemic. On the dark side, it exposed cracks in our public health foundations. It politicized science, and it turned common sense measures to protect ourselves and our neighbors into defiant expressions of fractured politics. Now, I don't know if you chose public health because of the pandemic or in spite of it, but I am so very glad that you did. One of my favorite books is The Ghost Map by Stephen Johnson, and that tells the story of a deadly cholera outbreak in London in the mid-19th century. It features a Jon Snow that is very different than the one from Game of Thrones, although I like to think they share some common heroic traits. So in 1854, Dr. Jon Snow famously stopped that deadly cholera outbreak by removing the handle from the water pump that served the neighborhood. It was the Broad Street water pump. He's considered the father of epidemiology because he mapped the cholera deaths and showed that the addresses of people who died clustered around that common water source. So if you go to London's Soho district now, there's a pub on the corner where that pump was. You can raise a pint with or without a questionable fake ID. You can sign a register and put your name next to the signatures of this century's greatest public health scientists. And I highly recommend that you do that if you visit London. So when I read this book 15 years ago, I was enthralled by the simple yet effective shoe leather epidemiology that mapping those cholera cases meant. It created a visual map of incontrovertible evidence that would lead any rational person to conclude that cholera was being spread by water. Now, this was very norm-challenging stuff for 1854 because everybody at the time thought cholera was spread by miasmas or polluted air. The germ theory was completely undeveloped and unknown, and doctors didn't even wash their hands before they dove into surgery. So by drawing a simple map, Jon Snow changed history. He not only stopped the outbreak, but he changed what we thought we knew about a scourge that was killing hundreds of thousands of people. He launched an entire scientific discipline of public health, and this discipline brings throngs of eager scientists, now fully vaccinated for cholera if you want to be, to London for beer and selfies in front of the Jon Snow pub. Now, you and I are not going to change the world in exactly the same earth-shattering way that Jon Snow did, but by being here and graduating today, you're embarking on a career that is for the good of the public's health, and you will be changing the world. The work you will do as public health professionals is for ordinary people who are going about their lives, fetching their water from the corner pump, believing if they just don't breathe in the bad smells from the street, they and their families are going to be okay. It took somebody with the skills to look beyond the expected, piece it together, change policies to help prevent it from happening, and take action to make a difference. It took somebody like you. It is said that the best way to predict the future is to create it. I'm going to make 2 predictions for your future. First, the skills you learned here at Virginia Tech are sorely needed. And next, our leaders are going to be sorely tested. In 2017, way before COVID had appeared, Dr. Tony Fauci predicted that the next presidential administration was going to be confronted with a serious infectious disease outbreak. This was not a magic 8-ball prediction. He based it on past experience. Most presidencies have a very high likelihood of a global pandemic or epidemic at some point during that presidential administration. Ronald Reagan faced AIDS and the HIV pandemic. Obama had H1N1 influenza, that was a pandemic in 2009, and he had an epidemic of Ebola in West Africa that sent me off to Sierra Leone for many months. And both Trump and Biden have battled COVID, which thankfully, just last week, was declared to no longer be an emergency of international concern by the World Health Organization. So if you shake your magic 8-ball and it tells you that the next pandemic or public health crisis is inevitable, what do you need to do? You need to help us create a world that makes the next pandemic less likely. And we also need to be sure that we're in a better position to respond to it adequately when public health crises happen. It's by studying our responses to past outbreaks that we better prepare for the next one. Now, there are no shortages of armchair quarterbacks that want to tell CDC what went wrong during the COVID outbreak. They're currently judging and dissecting our response, and we are too, internally within CDC. That's public health. It's monitoring and evaluation. It's a feedback loop of assessing what you did that made a difference and what you did that needed to be improved. We can't be afraid to acknowledge our errors or learn from our mistakes, or we're going to be doomed to repeat them. So right now, we are transforming our public health mission with a focus on data modernization, rapid and effective communications that are different than waiting to publish in a scientific journal, translating science into effective policies so that we can stop it from happening. We need a little more Gen Z like you, and we need a lot less 1854 shoe leather epidemiology of knocking on doors and hand drawing a map. We need you to make our maps with real-time GPS coordinates, and we need to model what is going to happen in the future and then take actions to prevent those deaths rather than counting them after the fact. And we need a strong workforce prepared for the next pandemic. So that's where you come in. It means that what lies before you is a world of opportunity. Now, you may not know what you want to do exactly. Dr. Hungerford listed a lot of different things that you guys are planning to do, and it's really exciting to hear that. I've spent my 25 years at CDC working on infectious diseases, but public health is not just Ebola and influenza vaccines. Chronic diseases, the opioid epidemic and the science of addiction, lead in the water from the Flint River, the built environment and how our cities are making us sick, this is all public health. So too are the health inequities that plague us and acknowledging them. When there's a crisis, we may all be in the same storm, but we are definitely not in the same boat. How we weather that storm is influenced by how healthy we are when it starts, how easy it is to find a doctor and get care, even how much we trust the information that comes our way. All that contributes to whether we emerge from the crisis healthy or with long-term issues. Solving these complex issues is a part of public health that's every bit as important as tracking down disease X, and I hope you're ready to tackle it. Dr. Sarah Luna was a CDC colleague who died too young while working in Alaska on public health crises she believed in. But she once famously described the work we do as that of a humanitarian scientist. And I think that perfectly captures what we are and what you're going to do. You're going to ponder and often solve complex problems. You will be educators, communicators. You're going to teach people not only what the next looming health crisis is, but how to survive it. It's not a profession for the faint of heart, so I do come with advice. So the first piece of advice I'm going to give you is this. I want you to think zebras. So I'm a veterinarian, and in veterinary school, they told us that if you hear hoofbeats, you need to think horses, not zebras. But I'm here to tell you, as public health professionals, I want you to at least consider that it might be a zebra running up behind you. We are constantly surprised by new and emerging pathogens. You have to be ready to pivot, and you have to be ready to accept that maybe it's something you don't know anything about. That's a zebra. So you guys are probably going to boo me for this, and your parents might too, but my next piece of advice is to accept mediocrity. I don't mean accept mediocrity in your professional work. You guys need to reach for the stars. But honestly, you guys are probably going to be getting a mediocre paycheck. And the reason is that public health, you wouldn't be doing this if you were coming in and expecting to get rich out of it. That's not what public health is. If you go into clinical medicine, you're going to get paid better, probably, but it's still less than people who are working solidly in clinical medicine make. But you know what? It's a very rich life. You're going to have friends all over the world. You're going to be compelled to do the work you do because you believe in it, and to me, that's more important than anything. My next piece of advice is to get outside your comfort zone. Specifically, I want you to travel. I want you to travel for work. I want you to travel for pleasure. I had never traveled outside the United States before I joined CDC. And immediately they sent me to Ghana in West Africa to work on polio eradication. And I learned what health looks like in different places. And I learned that the American way is not the only way, or even always the best way in some circumstances. I learned to appreciate diverse cultures, to accept setbacks in planning, and to really treasure the friends I make. I want you to accept that you don't know everything. This is a hard one, but our brains just don't work that way. For another thing, we're being constantly surprised by new scientific findings that are going to challenge what we think we know. So it's okay to ask Google or Alexa. I may have Googled how to write a commencement speech this week, having not done it before. And I have Wikipedia'd obscure bacterial pathogens while I've been on the phone with somebody trying to calm them down because they're upset about a diagnosis that they had. That's totally okay. My next piece of advice is to get a hobby. And I want that hobby to be something that really doesn't have anything to do with public health. So one of the things that the COVID pandemic taught all of us is that compassion burnout is real. And you need things in your life that are going to inspire and motivate you that give you an escape from that. You need to motivate different neurologic pathways. So for me, writing fiction has always been an escape. My husband takes photographs, and he's a microbiologist in public health. So just find something that excites you and strive to create that work-life balance. So finally, my last piece of advice is to believe in yourself. If you're like me, you probably recently binge-watched The Last of Us. How many here have watched that show? Yeah, that's because y'all are all public health nerds like me. And it's easy to imagine that The Last of Us, with its apocalyptic pandemic imagery, represents the future. But I want to turn that notion on its head. You guys aren't the last of us. You're the first of us. You're the first public health professionals who are emerging in this post-pandemic world ready to tackle the problems that we're facing. And you understand that countries, presidencies, and lives are going to be tested more by the threat of pathogens than the threat of war. And you were born to do this work. So to the class of 2023, I salute you. The future is not a dystopian landscape, it's a glittering road of opportunity with multiple pathways to make a big difference. So like Jon Snow, I want you to challenge norms, draw your maps, and make your mark. I'm going to be raising a pint to you and those who came before us later tonight, and I want you to keep your eyes on the road ahead because you are humanitarian scientists and the work you do matters. I can't wait to see what you accomplish.
So thank you, Dr. McQuiston, for your wonderful presentation and advice. And when she mentions her writing hobby, she did not mention that she's a New York Times best-selling writer as a romance writer. So some of your family may have read her work. So at this point, I am thrilled to not introduce to you, since you know him well, but to turn the podium over to Dr. Carrie Redican, a professor who has inspired all our students and is the founding and current director of the BSPH program.
Thank you, Laura. It's very customary for us to have a student graduation speaker that is selected by fellow students. And this year, Sarah Kate Brownmiller has been selected by her fellow graduates to be the 2023 BSPH Student Graduation Speaker. Sarah Kate Brownmiller is from Salem, Virginia. Growing up so close to Blacksburg, Sarah Kate knew from a young age that she was meant to be a Hokie and feels very fortunate to have attended Virginia Tech and to have been a part of the undergraduate public health program. Sarah Kate served as president of the Undergraduate Public Health Association and was the Virginia Tech campus liaison for the American Public Health Association. Sarah Kate is looking forward to continuing her education here at Virginia Tech as she pursues the Accelerated Masters of Public Health. This summer, Sarah Kate will be working with the Partnership for Community Wellness in Roanoke, and in that capacity will work alongside other public health professionals in designing ways to help the underprivileged populations. Her long-term goal is working towards health equity and the elimination of health disparities on both the community and global level. Welcome, Sarah Kate.
Hi everybody. As Dr. Redican mentioned, my name is Sarah Kate and I'm a graduating senior just like everybody else sitting here on the field this evening. Today marks a significant milestone in our lives. We are gathered here in Lane Stadium to celebrate the culmination of years of hard work, dedication, and perseverance. As we move forward into the next phase of our lives, it is important to reflect on our journey thus far. We've had an interesting 4 years here at Virginia Tech, to say the least, and that 2 out of 4 of our years were spent online because of the COVID pandemic. Most of our classmates were required to move out of our freshman year dorms early and have to adapt to a whole new learning style, from in-person classes to online classes. And most importantly, there was no football games or jumping to Enter Sandman. That was a huge adjustment and was very difficult for me, as I'm sure it was for many of you. Our lives were now completely turned upside down and we had to relearn our daily routines. However, we were determined to succeed, and we did. Through our challenges, we have learned to adapt and to be innovative and creative. We were resilient, and now here we are, graduating. We worked hard, we studied hard, we made memories, and we overcame challenges. But now comes a whole new set of challenges, and where we go from here, in particular, our successes and our failures will define us personally and professionally. We must never forget the lessons we have learned and the goals we have set for ourselves. With public health being such a collaborative and diverse field, we have been equipped with the skills to excel in such diverse settings. It is now up to us to make the most of those skills. We have a great opportunity to make a difference in protecting, promoting, and improving population health. And I truly believe that we will all meet the challenges in whatever awaits us in our next adventure. It is also important to remember those who have helped us along the way, our families, our friends, our teachers, our mentors, everybody sitting here on the stage this evening. They have supported us, encouraged us, and believed in us, and we would not be sitting here today without them. We are all a part of Hokie Nation, so I know we will have opportunities to stay connected. I want to congratulate each and every one of you on this amazing achievement. We have come a long way, and we should be proud of ourselves. But we must also remember this is only just the beginning. We have the power to make a positive impact on the world, and we must use everything we have learned up until this point to do so. So go out there, chase your dreams, make a difference. We've earned this. Congratulations, class of 2023. We did it! Woohoo!
Thank you, Sarah Kate. I would also like to introduce the Phi Kappa Phi Medallion recipient. Kathleen Ruhr is the recipient of the 2023 College of Veterinary Medicine Phi Kappa Phi Medallion. Phi Kappa Phi is the nation's oldest, largest, and most selective all-discipline honor society. Phi Kappa Phi recognizes and promotes academic excellence in all fields of higher education and engages the community of scholars in service to others. Virginia Tech's Phi Kappa Phi chapter awards the Phi Kappa Phi Medallion to one graduating senior from each of Virginia Tech's 8 colleges. The recipient is selected from among those students with the highest academic standing in the college. Kathleen earned the highest grade point average of all the BSPH graduates, and the Phi Kappa Phi Medallion was awarded to Kathleen. Kathleen, please stand and be recognized. Congratulations on this tremendous honor. Stephanie Valencic is the recipient of the Public Health Virginia Maryland College of Veterinary Medicine Outstanding Senior Award. The Outstanding Senior Award recipient is a senior with a high GPA and significant leadership contributions to the Virginia Tech community, Blacksburg community, and beyond. The student empowers others to grow personally and professionally and provides growth opportunities for peers. Also important is meaningful involvement in organizations both on and off campus and contributing to the growth and development of those organizations during their participation. Stephanie has done all of this and more. Stephanie, please stand and be recognized. Congratulations, Stephanie. I would also like to introduce the BSPH students who have been selected for membership in Delta Omega, Public Health Honorary Society. Delta Omega is the honorary society for graduates in public health. Founded in 1924, the society currently has more than 100 chapters. The Delta Mu chapter at Virginia Tech was chartered in March 2017. Membership in Delta Omega honors the dedication of individuals to high-quality public health scholarship as well as to the protection and advancement of the health of all people. Selection is based on academic excellence and demonstrated qualities of leadership in public health for students and faculty and for alumni. We recognize their accomplishments and they serve as models for future MPH graduates. Fewer than 10% of undergraduate students nationwide are eligible for this honor. Would the students please stand and be recognized as I announce their names? Iman Belafia. Chris Boyd. Grace Girolamo. Annie Leap. Brianna Litton. Travis Maines. Kathleen Ruhr. Jeremy Thomas, Stephanie Valencic, Kayla Vaught, and Jade Yoon. Congratulations. Additionally, each chapter may select one honorary member. This year's new honorary member is our graduation speaker, Dr. Jennifer McQuiston. Congratulations, Dr. McQuiston.
Now comes that time in the ceremony that we've all been waiting for, the presentation of degrees to the Spring 2023 Bachelor of Science Public Health graduates. Ushers will now direct graduates to the podium where Dr. Redican will read their names.
Fiona Richards. Audrey Rowe. Alyssa Scoville. Margaret Venoni. Haley Smeltzer. Mackenzie Wools. Ava Walker. Anna Park. Alexandra Amagi. Imani Bolton. Mateo Mullen. Ethan Walton. Nicholas Hessen. Brent Barbero. Naima Smith. Louisa Obenwa. Rebecca Ludwig. Brianna Tomatip. Jessica Lynn Ross. Rebecca Wade. Emro Ali. Samar Dillon. Olivia Romo. Travis Maines. Mackenzie Heckman. Sarah Powell. Marley McCall. Hunter Cassidy. Morgan Miller. Rukwing Kai. Grant Abernathy. Kunika Tiwanri. Arpita Das. Madison Baxley. Claire Smith. Sophie Bradley. Chris Boyd. Madeline Starr. Dayana Jason. Gwyneth White. Danielle Nisbet. Madeline Garcia. Naya Huntley. Olympia Ghosh. Rebecca Ranney. Haley Hallerbach. Brooke Sheridan. Brianna Litton. Isabella Betancourt Cardona. Lake Eanes. Isaac Pritt. Iman Belafia. Ruth Sayom. Abel Sampson. Charles Tapp. Callie Van Wart. Jacob Graben. Serenity Cortez. Emma Edwards. Belle Ars. Ellie Diffenwereth. Isabel M.J. Willingham. Noor Alami. Kristen Kim. Jude Sleeman. Cynthia Narvaez. Jacob Fasnacht. Anna Wynn. Jacob Rojas. Shannon Friedman. Emma Josie. Grace DiGirolamo. Kayla Vaught. Sydney Stoddard. Nikita Pamadala. Madison Medoff. Suryan Ace Kang. Shaylin Dempsey. Jada Morgan. Abraham Martinez. Jeremy Thomas. Annie Leap. Jocelyn Manas Rosales. Yabskeda Burkett. We'll do it again. Heba Sassy. Lauren Farrow. Ileha Patel. Delana Yvette Harrison. Kathleen Ruhr. Stephanie Valensik. Sarah Kate Brownmiller.
Let's give these group of graduates one more round of applause. At this time, I would ask all faculty on the stage party to please be seated, and I would ask that all of the candidates for bachelor's degree please stand. In anticipation of the university-wide commencement ceremony on Friday morning, where President Tim Sands, upon recommendation of the faculty and upon the successful completion of your courses of study, will officially confer the bachelor's degrees to which you are entitled with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining. You may now signify your graduate status by moving your tassel from the right side to the left. Congratulations and welcome to the Virginia Tech alumni family. Congratulations to you, the second cohort of the Bachelor of Science in Public Health graduates at Virginia Tech. Thank you for celebrating this wonderful and important day with us. As we conclude the graduation ceremony, would all graduates please join the faculty for a group photograph near the stage. Please join me in one final round of applause for our graduates.